I've just woken up and I'm looking forward to this walk today. We're going to go and see the other side of the mountain. We're going to go along the railway. We're going to go and see the old dam. We're going to see the hut, going past that. Some beautiful rocks there at Outeniqua. And in the saddle we look down. The old dam is very, very small when you're standing and you're looking down onto the old dam, as well as the Garden Route Dam, and it looks beautiful there. But I better wake up. Today is the day that some other people are going to be doing George Peak, but I feel like something different. I've done George Peak twice before, and I've done Craddock Peak 8 times. That was in 2018, 2019. So I hope for their sake that they enjoy themselves there. But let's go and do it. Let's go and see what the other side looks like. It's going to be very muddy, but I think it's worth it. Morning. We've just started our 21 kilometer and we've got baboons within 5 minutes from home. I don't think these workers on the railway are familiar with these baboons. Looks like these. Can you see this one? There. Looks like he's stolen something. Looks like the alpha. When you look up there, there's another one sitting. I think they've made their way into the bus here, checkers. I'm going to have to advise the people when I see them along the railway line here, put their food to close their bus. Delicious. They're going to be very, very upset. This baboon's got a... This is a meneer baboon, like 5 meters from me. Well, so much for the baboons that run away when people come close. This one is so into the food that he's got there that he couldn't be faced about the fact that he's got a person close to him. I'm going to have to tell the people in case they think somebody's broken in. I hope I see them along the railway line here so that I can tell them. So that I can tell them what's just happened. That these baboons have... One thing about a baboon is they can smell. And they've broken into the... Well, not broken. There were windows open. And they obviously went into the bus there. So at least it won't be so much of a shock if they know about it. Anyway, I've got 3 kilometers of this railway. And I'm not going to record all 3 of it. It is a section where the concrete sleepers have been laid in. Looks pretty strong. Now, there's a lot more than 5 or 10 or 15 here. There's quite a lot. So I don't know if there's more than one team. Remember what I said
They apparently told me, or how they told me, that they put in 5 per day. There's certainly more than 5 been laid in here. Put it this way, since the first day I saw the truck, it's been a few days. It just seems to work out more than 5 per day that they've been putting in here. So it's all a compliment. Anyway, I can hear them, and I'm going to have to tell them about the baboon. It's eaten somebody's food. He's going to understandably be upset, but they must keep those windows closed. We'll see them now. I used to ask who the driver is and speak to him. I don't know if there's any sort of charge here. I'm going to have to ask who's in charge. I'm just doing them a favor by telling them it's a lot of sleepers they've laid in here already. Good morning. Good morning. I'm
fine, and you?
I'm alright, and you?
I'm fine, I'm fine.
Where's the driver of the bus?
He's there in front.
There in front?
Yes.
The baboons, they go into the bus.
They go into the bus.
They eat the food. They take the food.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tell him.
So I must tell the driver he must keep the bus closed, because otherwise the baboons, the one baboon, the Makulu-sized baboon, the Makulu-sized one took the food from somebody who took the bakkie. So I must just tell him it's looking good here. All right, good.
Hello, sir.
Driver, are you the? Where's the driver of the bus?
The driver of the bus is there.
He must keep the bus closed. I want to tell him to keep the bus closed, because the baboon,
Okay.
the baboon, he eat the food from the people. The baboon, they go into the bus.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of work being done here. It's looking good. Morning. It's harde werk, but it's looking good. Where's the driver of the bus? I'm looking for the driver of the bus. There's somebody in charge. See? Thanks.
Wat een pik. Hij ziet dat het zwet niet.
It's harde werk, né? Môre meneer, ek is bly ek sien iemand in charge hier. Die Bobbiane breek in, klim in by julle bus. En het hulle kos gevat. Iemand se kos gevat. So ek doen net vir julle guns om vir julle te sê, hou daai vensters toe. Daar gaan 1 of 2 mense wees wat baie moes ongelukkig gaan voel as hulle daar aankom. En daar's 'n plastiese, die Makulu, die Alpha het 'n plastiese bakkie op hom gehad met rys en
Hy nie. Hy sê die Bobbiane het in hy bus ingeklim.
wel, daar's net een manier hoe hy daai kos kon kry. Dis 'n plastiese bakkie met rys en die Bobbiane was al om die bus en ek het 'n venster of 2 oop gesien. So daar's net een manier hoe hy daai goed kon kry. Hulle het seker ingeklim.
In hy bus.
I told them about it. There was a sort of a foreman there, at least. Clearly the same guy that was on the train when we were up at the top railway, busy, when they were busy offloading the sleepers. And he just told me that they lay in about 80 a day. Now that sounds more like it. As I was telling him how previous people were heading home yesterday, telling me that they lay in 5 per day, and then that's it. He says no, they lay in about 80 a day. And there's a lot more labour than I thought. But anyway, all this being said, a lot of new sleepers that have already been laid in, and it's looking good, which is fantastic news. We'll see whether there's more to it in the end than just the power van, and maybe a locomotive or 2. And like in the very, very far future, it certainly can't burn. Rocks can't burn. concrete sleepers can't burn, and metal rails can't burn. So I'll carry on recording once we're on the level ground, once we're off the railway. Another 2 kilometers to go or something like that. I'd love to know what's going to happen to almost all these sleepers right up until about there are new wooden sleepers that they put in. That was at a stage when I thought, maybe even they thought, that that's going to be the final replacements. Now I want to see we've got the concrete ones here still, which are obviously going to replace the new, less than 2 years old, well treated new wooden ones, bulk ones, whatever you call them. I wonder what's going to happen to them when once the concrete ones come in. Are they going to leave these new ones on the side? Can you imagine what furniture you could make with it? Or are they going to load them up and sell them? The feeling I get is that they're just going to leave them on the side of the rail. It'd be interesting to see. Horseshoe off the railway line now. This is where it turns and starts heading towards the direction that is built to be for, towards Outeniqua. We've been heading in the opposite direction, and after this U-turn here, or horseshoe, we'll be going that way. And as we go around this corner, we're going to be off the line. Look at the mountain in the background there. There's George Peak, where the team is heading to. There. I'm heading to Outeniqua, which is there, and then past over there. Just want to take a photo and I'll record as we go off the railway line here. Almost at the turn-off point. No more rail. One pro about the railway: your boots are not getting sopping wet and muddy. Whereas the price for that, you've got millions of stones that you've got to step on. I'll walk on this double rail here on the left hand side. Did I say I'm doing all of this with a GoPro today? Funny enough, the quality of the footage of yesterday's short one wasn't too bad. And off the railway we go. Goodbye, railway. Then, not too far from here, we're going to be turning right on a gravel road and then left onto the level part that leads us all the way to the old dam, which is stuck for there. I'm surprised that this can still look like a trail, because virtually nobody actually walks here, with the exception of the day I brought a couple of people. One day it was a group of about 20, the other occasion was a group of about 10. So far it's ideal weather, gravel road. I can smell, I swear I can smell nice things with this wet mountain now. I don't know what it is I smell. I don't know, it must be flowers, certain flowers. You don't see many flowers, you've got these white ones. We are very likely to see more, especially along this trail where we're turning left now. And this will remain level for another 3 kilometers. Arguably one of my favorite parts. Probably one of my favorite parts. Because not only because it's level, but because it takes you to a goal, takes you to a place, the old dam. It's going to look very similar to this for 3 kilometers, so I'm not going to record all of it. Maybe sections where we're likely to see other kinds of other flowers. That's the other thing. If you come here at the right time of the year, you can take photos. You've got these flowers here. You take a turn, go around the turn there, and you've got other kinds of flowers. Go around again, the next best one, other kinds of flowers, etc, etc. Look at that there. So I'll be recording a bit later again. Already quite windy, and if it's windy here, I can bet your bottom dollar it's going to be twice as windy when we're at the top there. You can see this trail here, then more inwards, and the part I dread is where we're going to have to go up on the opposite side of the catchment area to there. That's going to be very muddy, no doubt, because I strongly doubt whether that ever gets maintained for events like the trail runners and stuff. It just doesn't form part of their normal route, so you're going to have a lot of wet grass there and muddiness. That is what I predict. I've got 3 pairs of shoes on me. I've got my boots, my Rockies, and my, what are these other brands, walking shoes, not tackies. I've got them with me too. Point is, I want to make sure I've got a dry pair of shoes when I get to the top and past that muddy part there. Once we're on the other side, no doubt it will be drier and more rocky on the other side as well, other side of the mountain. Can you see what I meant on a previous video comment, that there's likely to be water all over the place? This little waterfall is very spectacular as well when there's been heavy rain. And let's see what it looks like now. Slippery, slippery, slippery. You don't want to slip here. Especially if we're entirely by ourselves. we've got to go. I could spend at least half an hour there for all you know. I could spend the entire day there, but in another 1.5 to 2 kilometers you've got the old dam, and when you get there you feel like, oh well, I could almost spend the whole day there. After that, if you're willing to walk quite far, you say to yourself, oh well, let's see if we can get to the hut. And if you get to the hut, oh well, I feel like I could spend the whole day there. So you just keep walking. But we do, today is a total experiment. The concern is about the transport at Montague Pass, and whether there's going to be reception at the top point of Montague Pass. So I'm rather going to be walking down on the opposite side, where one is likely to get to reception sooner than coming down the George side if there's no reception on the top. See this muddiness here? We can have a lot of it, possibly even more of it, all the way permanently on the other side of the catchment area. Maybe if it gets warm enough, it's one of those days where if your shoes get wet, I've had it before, and you just carry on walking. They dry out while you're busy walking. So anyway, odds are that I'll record again when I get to the dam. There can be some sound interference, but if you can hear this, look at all these yellow flowers. They're fairly new, certainly look like fynbos, but they're high and yellow, and I don't remember seeing them before the fire. Yeah, we've got more of them, possibly a lot to come in spring. They're all over the show here. I was only going to record once I get to the dam again, because I've got a second card for and I've even got a charger, but I hope that little second card works. Look at all these yellow flowers, something special. Just like I was expecting, the deeper and deeper you go into the catchment area towards the dam, the windier it becomes. Today was fairly windy already at the railway, but it just got stronger and stronger as one goes into the catchment area and you go deeper and deeper into it. So there's the dam, and we'll be on it now. So Carl, there you go. Anyone wondering why I sometimes talk about Carl? Because he's a friend of mine who's blind, and it would be a good thing to describe roundabout where you are, even though people that can watch the video can see, at least for his sake, say roundabout where one is, how high one is, what one is doing, and what one is busy seeing. So we've almost completed the next 3 kilometers and very close to the dam now. Guarantee you it's not going to be full, but it will still be interesting. I mean, all that water you saw or may have seen now in this river going down. There's water leaking out of this dam. The water you hear is water busy leaking out of it here. Surprising amount of water in it. I'm actually surprised. Thought it's going to be a bit lower, but all this water that leaks out here has still got to go into the garden root dam, so it's not like we're losing it. Nice. I'd love to spend a lot of time here, but I can't. I've still got what is 21 minus 6. Got about another 15, 16, possibly 17 kilometers to go. Let's take a snapshot from this side and then we have to go. Right, the dam is done, so to speak. Now comes the section that involves two things between the hut and the dam, or should I say between the dam and the hut. Two things here. First thing, this is where one climbs. Fortunately, more steadily than what would one climb. One would climb if one did it from the opposite side. It's a more steady climb. So the fact that it's a climb, most of the work is here, is point number one. Point number two, hardly ever gets maintained. So I'm intrigued to see how much mud and overgrowth we're going to have here. It's just enough to see there's a trail that's supposed to be here. Boy, I hope we don't get too much of these branches that have fallen over here, because that could delay us quite a bit. Anyway, this is what it's going to look like for quite a while, and I'll carry on recording when we get to the next best water. This could be another fill-up point. A little bit of running water here. I haven't even had any of the water that I've brought with me, but I can tell you, when it hasn't rained, that's one of the places you wouldn't see any water. The weather is playing along very well here. We've got this wind, fairly strong, but it's not hot or cold. It's whatever it is, just stay like this, please. Like I said, this is where you're going to hear me gasping for some air. It has been ages ago since I've walked on this spot, opposite side of the catchment area, and I love the way the dam becomes smaller and smaller. It has the sound of it starts fading away. So far so good. More open than I thought it's going to be. See what it looks like further up. See it better on photos than on the video, but on the left hand side here we have got lots and lots of pink flowers that have come out. It's hard to decide how often I can stop and take a photo, whether there's enough time, because I haven't done this route. I have done the route, but I haven't done the 21 in a day. I've done 35 camping halfway, and the other half all the way down. I haven't done past the campsite up to a certain point, making it a longer one-day walk before, so it's still all an experiment. We're going to be going along there. That is also, all of this is part of our incline, which is all fairly systematic. This one has had water. It's only dried up on times when it's been incredibly dry, but more often than not it does have water, and it's actually a filling up point. Funny enough, I haven't had any water since starting yet, but on a hot day, if I've come, then I've normally fill up my 1 or 2 little energy bottles that I've had by now. I would fill them up here. Maybe just stop, drink a little bit of water for a change. May as well fill it up here. Just had a first break at that water. I noticed sort of accidentally noticed that it was my first smoke since I started this morning. Having a sort of a energy bar here, which fell out, and I discovered it in bag. May as well have it as well. Boy, that's beautiful. Now 10 o'clock, somewhere around 10. So we've done at least 3, 6, arguably another 2. Call it about 8, minimum 7. So call that at least about a third of the way. And if we've started at about 8, can that be that I would be on the other side by about 2 o'clock? I think that's over optimistic, but I still get the feeling, sorry for all the chocolate in my mouth here, still get the feeling that I might be there sooner than 4 o'clock, which is been my guess so far. So we'll see. It's another stream. We've just had a break, and I started recording as I left that little stream. And yeah, we have another one. But I know these mountains. It's not too long after this, and we run out of streams like this one. And after the rain, maybe sort of a little bit of running water or dripping water off rocks to be able to fill up. If there hasn't been rain, at times there's been no water running here. Don't slip. I know this rock. I know this bloody rock from experience. I mean, it's only about a meter down, but you know how easy you can break your ankle, hurt your ankle. Pretty cool, eh? Look at all the yellow flowers here. Taking my jersey off. I don't actually bother. Having a smartwatch would be nice, because I suppose these times that I've given you and miles that I've done are accurate guesswork from experience. Well, the previous time I've walked here and bought here, and then measuring it on Google Earth, which is fairly accurate. I don't need to be absolutely precise. I am, by the way, tracking this on Wikilog. Don't know why they don't call it Wikilog, because you're busy logging it. Can't understand why I would call it Wikilog. It's actually Wikiloc. Maybe the idea behind the name is locking your spots or something. Systematic climb. Then eventually a little bit steeper as we turn sharply right to head up to the hut but at least we are well within the opposite side of the catchment area. Rocks. Quite like this little pot with its rocks and yellow flowers here. I'm waiting to see how high these yellow flowers can go, because I haven't seen them before. Clearly they're not weeds. I have to save my battery a bit, but this is roundabout what it looks like, opposite side of the dam, on the hut side in other words, and we still got an incline where we're going to be turning sharply left, and I might just, unless there's something spectacular, start recording once I'm close to the hut again. Right, just messaged my sister to clear things up and where I can be picked up, and told her I'll carry on walking towards the other side of Montague if there's no reception at the spot where I meet up with it, where I'll get onto it. So I've just spent 5 minutes clearing that up at least. Now we're on the most, arguably the most working part of the whole trail. Up to the hut. It also just comes and goes and comes and goes. You're probably going to hear the sound changing on the mic again when the phone, when the camera is not sure whether it should filter it or not. Anyway, I should get you up at the hut. No, it's up there. Not too long now, and we'll be meeting up. We've gained quite a bit of height here, and not too long from now we'll be meeting up with a off-road that the department drives when they need to take wood or do any maintenance to the hut. Basically this last part here. You'll see that there's 4 people, hikers, going down there. Obviously their obligation was to get to the hut, maybe making a U-turn. Good for them. I can see the hut with the eye here. You might battle on the camera, but we'll be there now. That was no surprise. This section is basically done. from the old dam up to this off-road. In this section that I've just done, I was convinced it's going to be a bit of a muddy story, full of mud, knee deep in water, wet grass, wet trees. And I think this bit of wind that we've had, this wind we've had this morning, has helped dry out the grass and the grass and the rest of the stuff, fynbos. So look here, it's still as dry as can be. As dry as can be. I was expecting them to be sopping wet by the time I get here, and if they don't get wet there, can't really see that they're gonna get. I don't care if they get wet. I've got 3 pairs of shoes on me. The good news, most of the elevation work has been done. There is a bit of climbing on that side there, where one still has to systematically go up. But we're almost at the hut, which is there. You look very carefully, you should be able to see it. Next milestone. About 11:15. Yep, about 11:15. And we're at the hut. Now, you stand on, this is basically the front of the hut, facing town. So if we turn around, you're looking onto town, and there's town, and obviously things like Craddock Peak, which is there, George Peak, where the team want to go today. Suddenly where we are, George Peak doesn't look that much higher, does it? I've done it before, and today is just one of those days that I feel like something different, something I haven't tried before. So I've told him, certainly no hard feelings or anything. I'm just going by myself, and if there was 1 or 2 other people who wanted to join, they would have been welcome. They could have joined. I did form a group, so-called group. Let's see if we've got people here. No people. See, this is what I love about this hut. This is the back side of the hut. So in a blink of an eye, within seconds, you're looking down from this balcony. A lovely balcony with a place there. And you're looking down onto this side. And that is where Kaimans is. The caves I sleep at is down at the bottom there, other side at the bottom, but we're not going there today. We're going to be going levelish there, other side there. So one can go this way around, which is what we did a couple of days ago. We started at Saasveld. Here's the sign. We started at Saasveld and came this way around, and there. So 11:30, we've got a couple of people up there looking most concerned, going to their viewpoint. I suppose you could call this a bit of a saddle as well, because you're looking that side to parts you definitely wouldn't see from the George side. Down there, here we are at the top, and there's the George side. The George side, let me lift it a bit. would have liked to have my breakfast there at the hut, but not to my surprise, it is a Saturday, so a couple of people are towards the top there, probably, I don't know, concerned or not. No, I don't know why I'm faffing, because they've got their luggage with them. Clearly they didn't leave anything behind at the hut. We've by no means done all of the climbing yet. Still got some to do. And as an option, when you get to this section, one can either go straight over, or around. I prefer around, because I can't think that it's that much longer in time. Very windy suddenly again. One of the more scenic parts. First of all, you feel like you're gaining because you're heading back in the correct direction again. As you get closer towards the saddle we're aiming for, the old dam looks larger and larger again as you're looking down on it than it did when we were walking away from it into the wrong direction. Bit of climbing. But it's all fairly steady climbing, more like a case of level, bit of climb, level for quite a way, bit of climb. And what I love about this whole section we're going to be doing here is you to and fro. First on the George side, then the other side, George side, past Skirvikop, and then eventually for good on the other side where there's no looking back to George anymore. It's beautiful here. Got some climbing to do here still. We'll make it. This particular section can feel fairly brutal. But it's worth it, because now we're going to go back and see the other side there again. Up towards this fencing again. I still don't know what this fencing is or was supposed to be about. I do love it when I see a sign like that in the middle of nowhere. Maybe they should rather put them up at places where you could possibly be taking the wrong turn, not at the place where you definitely haven't taken the wrong turn. I mean, we've been on this trail for 2 or 3 kilometers and suddenly I see a sign to tell me I'm on a trail. Those things they should put up where you could take the wrong turn off, maybe, if you didn't know the mountains. Now we are going to get to one of my favorite parts. I may just as well carry on filming here. Can you see what's going on? There's the George side again, with George Peak. This hill is in the way of Craddock Peak now. You can't see Craddock Peak. And back to the side we were looking at when we were at the hut. And you feel so isolated, you feel so calm. feels so something. I don't know what the word is. It's just nice being here. Even if it's windy. All of that there on the right hand side here now is the Caimans River catchment area. Any water that comes down there doesn't come to the George Dam, it goes into the Caimans River. Now I don't know, it's far from, I can see it with the eye, but I don't know if you're going to see it on this camera. There's a little bit of water right at the bottom there. It's not too far from there. There's the cave where I'm going to sleep at. And that there is like a swimming pool. Just a natural swimming pool with the sign and all. It says swembad. I've just seen some weed eater gut here. So basically the good news I think is that we're at the parts where the trail runners come. They maintain this for either Sandparks is doing it or some other contractor does it for trail running events. We've got some down here, but then we're going to have to go up again. When I went to Hoekville, when I walked to Hoekville the long way around one day, I went down there and then all along the interior there, between this hill and there, all the way parallel, there's a long strip. You can walk along with there. There is in fact a trail similar to this part here, lots and lots of little rocks, and leads you past what's Bosbo in English, Department of Forestry, some cut down plantation sections there, and eventually one turns right to Hoekville. In other words, that's going by the trail. Eddie is incredibly windy suddenly here, so I don't even know if anybody can hear anything I'm saying. Anyway, at least you can see. not forget that all of this was also pitch black after the fire. Pitch black. Up here. All of this. I mean, this fire stretched for plenty of miles. And we're already on one of the first interior sections. The fire had gone down here and far beyond. All of this was the end of 2018, somewhere around there. So call it just over 1.5 years. If we get to November this year, you can call it 2 years. In less than 2 years, you would not even know all of this was pitch black. Got some healthy fynbos that's come out. I better be conservative with the battery, even if I've got my charger, otherwise I'm going to have to stop and make some sort of plan to charge it while I'm busy walking. Windy. Heading towards Skurvekop. Well, sources tell me that that is actually Skurvekop, where I initially thought it is Tierkop. Because this is part of the trail that you walk when you do the full Tierkop trail. But anyway, who the hell cares? That's where we're going. Fairly uppish again. And that's where I also normally set up my tent when I want to make it a 2-day trail. So once we get there, we basically at the roundabout, the halfway mark of where I would normally walk. Setting up my tent. I'll show you when we're there. You can see the rocks, stunning rocks where I put the tent up normally. We're not too far from the turnoff to the right that heads sharply down to the caves at the bottom there. Circle. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you, but if you're listening, we've done the railway line. From railway line to dam we've done, over dam up to hut was a bit of a climb. That part is done. We well past the hut, heading towards Skurvekop now in this wind. So we've gained quite a bit of an elevation. We are on the interior side where you can't see George, and we're about to get to another section, one of the second last sections. Well, quite a longish stretch where you're going to be able to see George again, or at least that side of the mountain, and not the interior side anymore. And then finally to the main saddle when we head over for good to the interior side. Something smells fantastic here. Don't know what it is. Fuck me. Fuck it. This fucking wind. Yes, man. Good luck with George. Christ. At least the wind isn't as brutal on this side. So when you get to the interior side, it just blew me over. Lost my balance when I had to go and try and find my hat. Now you can see Now we're getting how much closer and closer we are to Skurvekop. Systematic gain here again, elevation gain. And all around it to the next best saddle. Yes, we can. We can. I've brought enough water. I do believe that there's water dripping down from the rock. Water dripping down from the rock where I camped, especially after this rain. And so if there's no little stream, which I've never seen until we get to the other side, I'll just put this under that rock to catch that steady dripping water to catch up on my water supply. Pink flowers again. We will get there. Quite interesting getting to some pine trees now for the first time. I'll record a bit further up. One could basically say we're starting to enter Skurvekop, where the growth is a bit higher, shade, more shade at places, and here and there you turn back into a shady pot again. There it is. Basically at the bottom of it. We'll be going a little bit higher now and through the forest part there, which is stunning. This is where scenery changes a lot around this corner. Parts of the catchment that we haven't seen for a while, we're going to be looking back down on now. Good exercise. There you go. Beautiful up there. We'll be climbing just a little bit higher still just now. Plenty of yellow flowers. The world is yellow. These are other kind of yellow flowers now. But also lots of them, sort of like daisy looking. And there you go. There's the dam that we crossed quite a while earlier. The old dam, only we are on the interior side of it now. When we crossed it, we had to go that way first and then around. Now we're looking at it from this side. into the forest. Below Skurvekop we go. Finally. I think this is where I might take a chill pill and rest. We're not far from the part where I set my tent up. Now your water. Yes, we've got water. Guys, is this beautiful? This is the 4 times that I've come to camp here. I put my bottle here, catch this water. It's more like a waterfall now after all this good rain. Sometimes there's perfectly adequate amount dripping down there. It's all along here. Absolutely fallen in love with this piece here. Anybody who looks at my homepage on Facebook will recognize these 3 rocks. I think that photo is taken from approximately this angle, and I normally set my tent up right here. Of course I do have a heavier load than I have today. Funny enough, not that much heavier. It's got extra shoes today. Anyway, I'm going to take a rest here. By far my favorite spot. I should actually have considered camping here tonight had I known transport might be a problem, and then opted to do what I've done 4 times, is walk all the way down when I get to Montague Pass tomorrow, all the way down to the bottom. But anyway, I love this piece of forest. I'm rather taking my break here. I was thinking about taking a break there when I get to the saddle on the other side there, where one can look this way and that way and so on. But it's probably going to be very windy there. So why not here where there's virtually no wind, and the place where I set my tent up normally. One of my favorite spots here. So I'm taking about a half an hour break here. Had some breakfast, and actually I know it's not the healthiest drinks, it's full of caffeine. I brought a score. It's still quite cold. The water is running down there, like I was saying earlier. So I've already refilled. I had a half a liter of water now. Immediately just drank it up, filled that up, and I think the longest stretch without water, not of the entire trail today, but between here and where we end up stopping, the longest little piece without water is going to be from here to the next one. After that, there's another 3 streams that are actually relatively quick apart. There's actually almost more little streams on the other side there, on the dry side of the mountain, to fill up compared to this side. Just now I'll just take a sort of a roundabout look, and off we go. Would actually have been nice to maybe camp here. No doubt I will do it again at some stage. Come and camp here. Put the tent up there. I've got to start watching my card space and my battery life. And this is what happens shortly after you exit this small piece of forest, immediately becomes a bit lighter. And what normally happens is this is where I go when I have made my coffee in the mornings. I'll walk along here, and yeah, of course it's quite cold in the morning. And I come and park out here somewhere where I can look down on George, the Old Dam, Garden Route Dam, a couple of branches in the way, couple of branches in the way. This takes about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I even just come and stand here and don't know if you're going to see it, how well you're going to see the view. I love these flowers. Spring is in the air. Almost slipped. Right here, I'll come and park here, even at night before I go to sleep, because from here you see all the lights, of course, of town when you're looking that way. Just go sort out something here. Old Dam, town, Garden Route Dam. But we're going to see a lot of it now, from a completely different angle. There's Craddock Peak, so we're still going around here. We're going to be going over, once we're there, over there. No more seeing of this side of the mountain. This here is one of my favorite spots, been one of my favorite spots in the past to take a photo, especially standing on the other side of this rock looking this way. So this gives you a sense of direction of where we are and where we're still going. Rocks, formations, more rocks, beautiful rocks coming. Like there. Trail runners, I can't imagine that the trail runners actually fully appreciate it. Probably my favorite photo, one of them, is standing here at night, close to night. Town there, rock here, mountain there. I'll start filming when we're at that saddle again. We've reached the saddle. Reached the saddle. Yes, we have. From here, it's all. I wonder what flower that was I just smelt. Like blue ones, I think. From here, it's all the way down towards the right hand side. Goodbye George side. Let's just take a, always windy at the top here. The higher you go, the more wind you're gonna have. Let's look at the interior side here. Wind must just not blow me over here. And then we go to the George side. Saddle here, Skirverkop there. And on this side, there's George. Plus Oldham. If you look carefully, there. Gardenroo Dam, George. Craddock Peak, George Peak. I wonder how the rest of the team are doing that opted to do George Peak. Anyway, quite a way to go. We've got to go all around there, around there still. So I'm not going to record too much here, save this battery a bit. So now, just met up with some people that I met, what is it, less than a week ago, that we saw towards the teacup hut. They had actually gone camping when we met them the first time. Boy, they must also be super fit. They're not trail runners. Couldn't believe it when she said to me that they've just come from Craddock Peak. And there's another trail that I obviously didn't even know about in the past that they'd be following down. They first did George Peak, then to Craddock Peak, and now they're going down the long way round. And they're just going about as if they're going in a walk in the park here. Boy, I wish I was as fit as that. Very good question that the one lady asks me. Pretty little lady, I might say. Why is your bag so heavy? What have you got in your bag? I said, good question. Put in extra shoes, just in case. So it's not that much heavier. It's just that's what maybe makes it look so much heavier, because it's taking up so much space in it. But a very good point. Had I known it's not necessary to bring any, I wouldn't have. I would have had a smaller bag, nothing more than water. This has got to be one of my favorite parts of the entire trail, getting closer and closer to Craddock Peak section here, but looking at it from the interior side. Is where that zigzag that one may have seen on previous photos, well, I know on what photos, I don't know if anybody has ever seen it, but it's like a Z form where we're going to go sharp down, basically two sharp downs, sharp one way and sharp the other way, two long ones, sharp long way one way, sharp down long way opposite direction. I have to film even if this part here, it's like one of the parts where I would play a nice song on the video or something. Wind is not quite as strong anymore, but it's all lower. As I speak, here it comes again. Here comes the wind. I hope I don't lose my hat. Beautiful. I don't care who the hell says what. That is beautiful. Carl, like you've gathered maybe from any commentary, if you've been listening to this video, we're on the interior side now. We're at a section where you can't see George Peak at all, but you can see Craddock Peak, and at certain angles you can't see the top of Craddock Peak either. You're right at the bottom of a massive piece of krans, basically. Heading closer and closer to it, basically, as one goes down to our first water, which will be down, so call this a gorge if you like, or whatever, where we're going down here now. Sorry, but I just feel, almost feel, it's so stupid saying this, but almost feel like I have to record myself just once or twice, just for my own pleasure, to say it is only me doing it today. but I don't mind. I actually almost felt like being alone. So we're heading straight down, all the way down to there. One thing is for sure, snake bites you here and you're by yourself, you're stuffed. But I have been fully aware of that kind of risk every time I've come around the mountain to this side. And I'm willing to take those risks. This is where we make a serious change of direction, zigzagging down. You don't want to fall down here. You don't want to fall down here. You don't want to fall down here. Oh, yeah. We were up there earlier. Wind is dying down a little bit. You don't want to fall down here. Okay, we'll film a bit later again. Finally, after sharp down and lots of concentration not to slip, we are reaching this first stream here. Here's another example of the concentration, because I'm stuffed. The thing is, it just takes one small mistake, and if you've hurt your ankle, you're stuffed. There is nobody else on this side here, and I have always been fully aware of that risk. So I'd just like to be a little bit extra cautious, maybe, as I should always be cautious anyway, even with other people. Now, see what I mean? Slipping a bit. We're reaching this point where I'm going to take my medication now and take a 5 or maybe 10 minute rest here at this stream, because then there's a bit of an incline after it. Clearly remember the original video I made, which was only about something like 12 minutes in total, included this little piece coming in towards the water here. Hopefully all goes well. There should be enough battery life to last until we get to the Outeniqua Pass. Jeez, nice having this shade. So much cooler here suddenly. I don't really feel like getting my boots wet here. Goodbye stream. Resting spot. Hello, climbed from the word go after the stream. Needless to say, sharp incline shortly after becoming less of an incline. Waterfall here as well, water dripping down here. And there's another 2 or 3 of these streams to come. That's what I said about this side of the mountain. There's no shortage in streams to fill up. Sort of like shade like this for a long while, and then you just start getting a view again. And I will record as soon as we get a view again. I haven't ever seen them on the George side of the mountain. I might be able to catch them on camera here. Probably on the nest area here, because we should be heading for another little stream here. I hope to catch them, because I can't carry on recording too much, just to be able to see if I can get them. Oh, he just left there, he went around there. They're inside here. They're inside here. Look, black with a red head. All black, red head. A little bit of water here. Certainly enough to fill up another bottle if one wanted to. But I know the side of the mountain, and I know I've got enough to last me until the next best fill up. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the last piece of forest. Certainly from what I recall on the 4 other times I've walked here. Scary stuff here. It's like there should be a ghost here somewhere slipping with this. There's been good rain, and the rain has had a better effect on this side of the mountain than I thought it would. If you stand here looking at this now, you wouldn't think that you're on the, like I keep calling it, the dry side of the mountain. The oats were inside. When you see this here, you could easily think, why not fill up this bottle again here? You could easily think that you're on the wet side, the George side. Another beautiful waterfall with the purest piece of forest here. Stunning. Lo and behold, we're getting to the part that opens up a bit here. After some fairly steep climbing, fairly steep incline, we're now starting to reach the point where one can have a good view of the interior, looking all along the 2 main sections of the mountain. Your one on your left and your one on your right. And it's basically in the center of those 2 that I walked when I went to Hoekville. And this is what one looks at for a large part of the trail to come still now, which will finally be relatively level. So beautiful. You can see got your interior side, George side, Outeniqua side valley, if you want to call it that, and that is where I walked for miles and miles, camping 2 nights, over the one ridge, over the next ridge, etc, etc. Windy, so I don't know if you could hear anything, but there we go now. If you can see the trail, we've got another viewpoint on there. I know I've recorded some of the section of the mountain already. Oh man, please. But guess what? I'm gonna do it again. Because this here there are two parts that are my favorite part, because I see it so seldom when it comes to this trail. The one is this part that you're looking at now, where you are you feel like you can build a house, something like that. No people ever come. And just look how nice and green it is, and the recovery after the fire. So, and this goes on for probably about an hour. I don't know, anything between half an hour, where you're just looking at that the whole time. So this is the one. But then when we eventually go around, you start heading for farmland and seeing other parts where you won't be able to see this now. And that's also one of my favorite parts by far. This section here, these sections are the main reason I come and do this trail. Camping at the top there is nice, but also coming to see these sections because I like it. I like it here. There were trail runners, and this they're not on this part. Those trail runners are doing this competition today where they reach something like 4 or 5 or 6 peaks, but it doesn't include, from what I've gathered, this piece of trail that we're walking on. It certainly did include a part that we were walking on earlier. You could certainly see them running. Carry on recording now again. One of my favorite viewpoints, photo taking points. Rocks here on your right hand side, and you're dead center in the mountain here. Mountains left, mountain right, mountains right, and added to that, flowers that we haven't had for a long time. Certainly not the last time I came walking here. So from here, from that direction, we go this way, and we're going to be going over there to farmland sections, and we head straight for, got a long stretch, but we head straight for the Montague Pass there, then just up here, and then we'll be on the stretch where there's still some streams. Say goodbye to that section finally now. Have a look at it for the last time. Over here we go, where we constantly looking up at the rocks there. Totally different, and basically, thankfully, all the way down from here, we've got a nice dam there. Can one see why? You see, here's a name of a trail name, but it's so rusted, it doesn't even exist anymore. So that's what makes it different here on this side. Looking up, looking down, farmland basically. And if I run out of anything on this GoPro, I might just have a little bit of space left on my point and shoot. But hopefully this already gives you a good idea of what it looks like most of the way, and it's beautiful. Managed to pick up the pace a bit. I was just feeling down and out for a while, not too sure why. Maybe I should get some of this Calci Vito or something that you mix in your water to maybe help give you some energy, or something that's more valid than energade, I don't know. But suddenly I've got this leash in life and picking up the pace here, heading towards Montague now. And every time you go around corners, looking up at Craddock there, seeing Craddock the whole time from the opposite side is the fun part about this section here. It just keeps changing every time you turn to the left and you turn to the right. Next left. And obviously not only Craddock, but that the trail further towards the interior farm, small piece of, well, probably large, but that looks pretty small from far off. Watson, check this beautiful waterfall. I want to be here when it's been serious heavy rain. See how stunning that would look with the mountain in the background. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit here for you guys. You may or may not see that piece of waterfall, but it must be pretty spectacular on this side of the mountain, with Craddock Peak in the top, and this here and that there, waterfall. Beautiful. I love it here. Let me clean this lens here. Sorry about that, I just had to clean the lens a bit here. Beautiful, beautiful, fairly sharp down, and then a slight other incline again. But good news is I can see the farm further up there, or should I say further down, which is basically my stoppage point, providing there's reception, that we'll see. Well, I've just filled up now. No shortage of places to fill up when you're on this side. Just have enough battery life and cart space. If not within the next few seconds, we are about to get onto yes, at least they've made life impossible for a motorbike to come in here, which I muchly appreciate. Motorbikes have done a lot of damage there. And here we go, past this farm terrain here on the right hand side, onto the Montague Pass. Under normal circumstances I would turn left here, go up a bit, and then all the way down on the opposite side. But as I've arranged with my sister, she's coming over with a Outeniqua, so as soon as I get onto the Montague, I'll be walking down, making her trip a little bit shorter to pick me up. I've already messaged her about half an hour ago, which could save some time at least for her as well. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this. I hope you enjoyed it. It's also for myself. Let me clean this lens. Hello there. It's also for myself, and if anybody likes it, then I've taken photos, umpteen photos on the previous 4 times I've walked this trail, but I've never really bothered making much of a video. The longest video was one time was about 15 minutes, I think, maximum. I think I said it earlier in the day, about 12 minutes maybe. And just added a bit of music. This maybe gives a bit of a better explanation. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time.